Every morning, millions of people rely on trains, buses, and cars to get to work. When we describe these daily commutes and routines in English, we use the simple present tense. In Portuguese, you can drop the subject and simply say, pego ônibus. The verb ending tells the listener who is doing the action. English requires you to explicitly state the subject every single time. You must say, I take the bus. The advantage of this strict rule is that English verbs are easy to conjugate. For almost every pronoun, the verb stays exactly the same in its base form. I take, you take, we take, they take. There is exactly one exception to watch out for. When talking about a third person, he, she, or it, you have to add an S to the end of the base verb. He takes. Because English lacks distinct verb endings for every person, that subject pronoun acts as the foundational anchor. Without it, the sentence falls apart, because there is no other way to tell who is performing the action. When you want to describe a habit you don't have, the instinct is to place a simple know in front of the verb. But I know drive does not work in English. You need the helper verb don't to make the phrase negative. I don't drive. If we apply that third-person rule to a negative statement, we don't change the main verb, we change the helper. Don't becomes doesn't. She doesn't drive. A common mistake is to double conjugate by saying she doesn't drives. The word doesn't already pulls the S away from the main verb, returning drive entirely to its base form. These auxiliary words act as the heavy lifters. They carry both the negative meaning and the conjugation, freeing up your main verb from doing any of the actual structural work. In Portuguese, you can ask a question by simply raising your voice at the end of a sentence. English requires a structural marker at the start. You have to place the word do at the very front of the phrase. Do you ride a bike? The third-person rule applies here too. When the subject is he, the front block shifts to does. Does he walk? If you need specific information, using words like when, where, or what time, you stack those words directly in front of the helper verb. When do you ride a bike? The core structure behind it stays the same. Let's test this. Take a moment to convert the first prompt into a negative statement and the second into a question. Pause the video if you need more time. Here are the results. He doesn't walk to work, and do they take the train? English questions rely on the specific word order. Without starting the sentence with do or does, the listener will hear your sentence as a statement, regardless of your vocal tone. With the verbs sorted, we need to address time. Portuguese uses generic prepositions like in or no, but English categorizes time based on how specific you are being. This chart organizes time as an inverted triangle. The widest section at the top is the preposition in. This covers long periods of time, like months, seasons, or broad parts of the day, in the morning or in May. Moving to the narrower step in the middle, we find on. This is used exclusively for specific days and dates. We say on Sunday or on weekdays. Finally, the precise point at the bottom is for at. This is used when you are pointing to an exact minute on a clock, like at 9 o'clock or at noon. This hierarchy helps you select the right marker for any situation. As your schedule gets more specific, moving from a general month down to an exact minute, you simply move down the triangle to a more precise word. Let's bring these rules together using Emily's routine. She avoids driving, takes the bus, starts her commute at 8 a.m., and does this every Monday. Starting with our negative helper, we write, Emily doesn't drive to work. For the affirmative habit, we add the third-person S and use our triangle prepositions. She takes the bus on Mondays at 8 a.m. To form a question about her routine, we use our marker. Does she take the subway? Which we confirm with a short-form answer. No, she doesn't. This visual is your checklist for the simple present tense. It summarizes the affirmative S, the negative helpers, the question markers, and the hierarchy of the time triangle. Mastering these structural rules bridges the gap between translating words and fluidly describing your real daily life to others.